I record anything, that's about what I do anyways. It's like we'll be in the middle of a conversation, I just press record. I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
why I didn't press record sooner.
I always say that. It's just like we start talking, I'm like, I like you have good conversations as well. I'm like, might have as well had pressed record from the get go. Um, but I just kind of like, which is funny because I like the genuine conversations before pressing the record, but then after pressing record, it's still just normal, genuine conversation. So I'm just like, but in my head, I'm like, oh, I want to treasure those just like 5-10 minutes beforehand. And I'm like, actually, that was like some of the best things that I could have posted online.
Yeah, it's like a good warm up though. You just
Yeah,
don't want to be like I was in JV basketball, where I'm like sinking three pointers and warm ups, and then I get into the game and I can't make a layup.
yeah. Total opposite. Oh man. Before kickboxing fights, I used to my warm up was we had a PSP, so we would play Tekken. You know, anyone who had like whose fight was coming up, they would just like do a couple of rounds of Tekken to just like get into the mood for actually getting in the ring. And every time I did that, I would get a stupid idea that I would try to like pull it off in the ring, or and it just never would work. And it's like, oh shit, man, like I could remember my corner just shouting at me, like, Mahan, don't do it, don't do it. I was like, no, no, listen, I've got a plan. And I would always fall flat on my ass.
Yeah, it's gotta be fun though. Like actually, whenever I do Muay Thai, I get like the false sense, or I guess a full sense of delusion that like it'd be a fun idea to do a fight. Like,
Yeah.
man, it'd be so fun to fight somebody in a ring, and then I'm like, oh no, maybe not. Maybe it's not as fun as it feels when you're training.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's a good, like, especially if you're sparring with someone who's like kind of same level as you and everything else, and you're throwing good combinations, they're throwing good combination. It feels like an actual movie, you know, it's like, ah, this is sick. And you get the idea of like, yeah, I want to do this. And then you get with someone who just like has done Muay Thai for a while, and then the moment you're about to kick, they sweep the shit out of you. And you're like, man, that ground hits really hard. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
Dude, it's so bad sparring with somebody that's way better than you. So like the only person I've ever sparred with is one of my coaches. Actually, he moved to London for training a couple months ago,
Okay.
so I haven't trained in a couple months. So basically, I just do privates with him. But he he was like, okay, we're gonna start sparring, but no kicks, so you can't kick me. He's like, that's one of my better points. I have really long legs, so I'm a pretty good
Yeah.
kicker, especially keeping distance. And he was like, I'm not gonna hit you in the head, so only body shots. But he's like, don't hit me too hard. Because if you hit me too hard, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then like sure as shit, we're like a minute into sparring, and I must have clocked him because he hit me with the dirtiest body shot, and I was like, oh okay, that's uh, that's pretty good feedback.
Yeah. I immediate feedback. Yeah. Now I have a there is a one of the instructors here is this like small guy. His name is Boat. Good old B Stone. Um, Man, every time I spar with him, it feels like he reads my mind. You know, like it. The most humbling experience is when you try to bring your leg up to kick, and he just puts his foot on top of my knee and pushes it down. And it's like, are you serious? Like I can't even lift my leg up. He just stops it before I can even like just get any air behind it. Or like he puts his leg in front and it's just like kind of taunts you to go for it, and you're like, I'm not gonna do that, I'm not gonna do that, and then he keeps taunting you, and then when you're about to go for it, he hits you with like three different hits, and you're like, I don't even know what hit me. So
Yeah,
quite
combat sports are
humbling.
so funny. There's people that are like such high fight IQ and like really technical, and you get other ones that definitely show up to the fight with no plan. They're just like all gas, no brakes. Like you're
Yeah,
watching the fights last weekend.
yeah, yeah.
Like who did BSD beat up? Fuck, who did he beat?
Right.
It's on the main card. Anyways,
Yeah.
he was fighting somebody pretty good and like kind of got his ass kicked in the first round. In like round two, he just comes out like fucking swinging. Like even the announcers like Cormier is like, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but it's working. Just brute force.
He wasn't fighting Dan Hooker. No, no, no.
No, it was Dan Hooker, right?
He was Dan Hooker. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought so.
He
Yeah,
beat the fuck out of Dan Hooker. So Dan Hooker kind of
yeah.
pieced him up in the first round, and then like round two, he just comes out fucking slinging again.
He just goes crazy, dude.
Yeah,
He beat him up good. That was a good fight. Volk's fight was really good as well. Like,
dude, it was. It's also kind of boring. It was like I don't get the point of Volk versus Lopez two if it's the same as Volk versus Lopez one.
yeah, Yeah, it was just like I like the whole idea that we're talking about. Like in the first fight, halfway through, Cormier is like, I don't understand why he keeps going to the left if he's a southpaw and like things like that. And then in the interview, Volk goes like, yeah, in the first fight, he just caught me every time I moved to right. So this time the game plan was to just move to the left. And then they lost their minds in the post interview. Like Cormier was like, this is why he has the best fighting IQ ever, because I criticize him for this and this is his game plan, blah blah blah. So I was just like, yeah, I kind of liked it because I'm a big Volk fan, so I'm just like I'm happy that he won and like he did well. I'm a big fan of his footwork. I think like he does really good. He has really good footwork. But I like the fights the week before that, especially I mean again Gagey Pimlet. That was the only good fight. Like it was funny that card, all the prelims were done by knockouts, and then all the
Yeah,
main
dude, the prelims are
event.
way better,
Yeah, it's
in
like
my
people
opinion.
go for it.
Like so part of it was one of my guys fought on the Contender Series last year, so I watched like every week of the Contender Series just to get my mind right for it. So I know when I see certain names that are like in their debut or in their like second or third fight that were like pretty impressive on the Contender Series. And that first kid, I forget his name, but I remember him being a really good striker. So I'm, okay, this is going to be interesting to watch. And then the second guy on the prelims, Hokit, the
Mm-hmm.
former NFL guy. So he played with one of my clients for the Niners for a bit, and then one of my UFC guys that I trained got his ass kicked by Hokit in his debut. Like Hokit knocked him out in like 30 seconds.
Oh
I was
shit.
okay, this guy's pretty good, and he's a clown, so like that's gonna be pretty interesting to watch. So and sure as shit, they were like, I think they were both first round knockouts at the buzzer.
Yeah, I was just
Dude, that
going
was one of
for
the
it.
most badass knockouts I've ever seen though. Like Hokit just dogs the fuck out of this dude for the entire 5 minutes, and then like 20 seconds left. I think he hits him with a hook, and he starts running away. And then he body kicks him while he's running away, and he falls down. And then he walks over to him, gives him the finger. And while he's giving him the finger, he just like lays down, and the ref calls it off. I'm like, that's so gangster.
Oh shit! I didn't see that one. I need to go and see it again. I didn't
Dude,
watch that.
he literally walks over to him and gives him the finger. He's like flipping the bird to him while he's laying on
Oh,
the ground, and then he lays down, and the ref calls it off.
oh, nine. Ah, sick. That's sick. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. This like that one I didn't. I think I didn't watch the prelims. I just watched the main card. And even halfway through the main card, I left and then came back for the end. That sounds sick. It's mental. How many fighters do you train right now?
One, two, three. I got three that do MMA or some striking based sport, and I got another two or three that do jujitsu. Um, Actually, probably like seven or eight if I include the guys that I see remotely, or
Mm-hmm.
the guys that kind of come through. Basically, I started training. One of the guy I found in the Contender Series last year, owns a gym, like a martial arts studio that's basically attached to the same building that the OG DMB Iron's at.
Okay.
So I started training a couple of them, and then like now, basically anybody that comes through that's worth the shit, they just come to train with me. So I get pretty good exposure to a lot of jujitsu because
Mm-hmm.
like Muhammad was a world champion in Brazilian jiu-jitsu for a couple of years, I think. And then one of the other guys, Max Menace, he's the one that's in the UFC right now. He's a heavyweight. He was also a world champion, I believe, or he was pretty decorated. Because him and Muhammad would always go against each other, like at Worlds. Like they were like two of the top in the world at jiu-jitsu, which means nothing to me, but like if you're into jiu-jitsu, apparently people know who they are. So we have like a lot of young kids that come through that are like very talented, that are like, winning European Opens and stuff that are very good. And then we have a fair bit of guys that are like MMA pros.
Mm-hmm.
For what that's worth, people think like you can be pro in MMA and you're still fighting in like fucking back alley leagues, but like you're not amateur anymore. I don't know what the delineation is, but there's like pro fights and amateur fights. You get invited to do a pro fight, I guess, and now all of a sudden you're pro. But I guess the difference would be like when you see guys that are in the UFC and they're 10-0, but they have three UFC fights. That means they probably beat up like seven cans in some back alley promotion, and then now they've actually won three fights against somebody who's worth the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's my foray into training fighters.
All right. Do you feel like because I was before I'm gonna sort of reorganize my thoughts so I have to say that because I feel like before that, and this might have just been my feeling, but you were training also like or you still are training football players too, American football players, right? Do you
Yeah.
think there is a like I find similarities between like training both guys. So just like as someone, but that's just all in my head in theory. So as someone who's like actually is training fighters now and like American football players, do you see any difference between their training?
Yeah, I mean, because I think the difference with MMA is, MMA is MMA. They're all
Mm.
playing the same like position. Football, you get such a variance of positions, but I think some of what you see in the variance of positions in football is something that you see in the variance of athlete that you have in MMA, because you'll get even amongst heavyweights. If you watch like Teixeira versus what's the fat guy's name? Anyways, it's like dude, that's two very different body types in the same division, right?
Yeah.
Or even like we were just talking about Hokut. Hokut's only 230, but he's fighting heavyweight, right? So
Hmm.
there's a lot of differences in body type for guys that are fighting heavyweight. The sport's kind of the same, but then you have guys that are more of a striking background, more of a wrestling background. So you can talk about, okay, do I want to train them from a general preparedness standpoint, or work on qualities that are going to help them get better at the flip side? So if I have a guy who's like a black belt in jiu-jitsu and he wants to get better at striking, am I working on things that are going to help him be a bit more elastic or twitchier, right?
Mm.
To help him be a bit more explosive in his striking, because that's the main goal. Or maybe like we're going into a fight, we know we're going to fight somebody in 16 weeks that's going to be more of a wrestler, right? Or more of a ground guy. So like you might change the training based off of what their plan needs to be going into a fight. Sorry, I'm probably on a side tangent now. But anyways, it's like
That's all right.
you'll get some variety where like if you like talking about Volk, for example, look at Volk and Lopez. Like Lopez is very narrow, very small frame. I'm not sure how tall he is. I think Volk is like 5'6", yeah?
Yeah, he's five
So
six.
Lopez is probably like 5'8", 5'9". Like Lopez is a little bit taller, much skinnier. Volk's like super wide. So like from a body type standpoint, what we need to give them from like a movement variability perspective is probably going to be different, even though they're fighting in the same league and fighting in the same sport, or same weight class in the same sport. So you can always break things up in that way, which I tend to do. But from a general preparedness standpoint, I think like you just need to have very durable athletes, especially for a contact sport. So like shoulders, hips, make sure we have adequate muscle mass, make sure we can move well. I think there's carryover in that regard. I think the biggest difference is probably from a conditioning perspective. Like,
Yeah.
football is very like 5 seconds on, 25 seconds off. So I'd say it's very anaerobic in terms of you're probably going to get 10 plays in a drive, and then it's very aerobic in the sense of like you're going to be out there for 3 hours, as opposed to MMA, you can like red line pretty quick, right? Like if you're just going at it for 5 minutes, you could have 5 minutes of super high intensity. So like the qualities you have to train from a conditioning perspective are going to be a lot different. So that's probably the biggest difference. So I'd say there's like general movement qualities, and then there's overarching qualities like strength, power. What does the athlete need to get better at? Which depending on position in football, maybe we change a little bit. Like I don't really care to make a wide receiver more twitchy if they're already twitchy. Like what are they good at? What are they bad at? What can we get them better at? Now if they're a slow receiver, that'd be different. So now I'm just throwing in. I'm not giving you a real answer. I'm just giving you context of. It's hard for me to speak in generalities because I don't train much in a team setting. Almost everybody I work with is in either a 1-to-1 setting or 2 or 3-to-1 setting. So I can make things pretty individual pretty easily. If I think my perspective would shift if I was working in a team setting where I'm like, okay, now I have to kind of create buckets and generalize things to like here
Yeah.
are certain kinds of receivers, or even like down for level 3. That's what we would do for combine prep. It's like you have some guys that are fast, some guys that are slow, and then within that you have guys that are weak and fast or strong and fast, and then weak and slow and strong and slow. And based off of that, maybe we're going to touch different points of, if you have a guy that's strong and fast, maybe you try to make him a little bit more twitchy. If you have a guy that's weak and fast, maybe you try to make him a little bit more strong. Or maybe you just like, nothing's broke, don't fix it, just get him better at running. But anyways, we can create buckets where if we're training people in a group setting based off their sport and what the task is or the positional demands are, we can create buckets and kind of generalize things onto them and still get a decent result.
Yeah, maybe. All right. To be honest, I like it when you go on tangents because it's not from general preparedness. It can be kind of similar, but also I like how you broke it down for football players based off of position, but even for fighters based off of like their shape, size, and like what they're good at. Some people, back in the day, everyone's issue with Connor was like, oh, he just doesn't have the like he tanks out really quickly, right? So you can even look at it as like someone's really precise, really strong, but doesn't have the endurance to go all rounds or gets tired very quickly. So
Yeah. So, and sometimes like you'll make that analysis and try to implement it in training. So like, it's funny. My client Max, the UFC guy heavyweight, he had actually retired from MMA. Like he went like 6-1. He had a good career in the pros, and then like didn't get an invite for the Contender Series. Didn't really get any conversation for the UFC, so he retired. And then like 3 or 4 months after retiring, they just like sent him a contract, to my knowledge. So he just signs a 4-fight contract with the UFC. And like he had retired, so he wasn't really in like game shape anymore. So now we're like, okay, I think we had like 13, 14 weeks to get him in shape. So my only priority for him was like, okay, like you're good on the ground already. You're big as shit. Like the biggest thing for you, because you're so deconditioned, is probably just get in good cardiovascular shape. So the biggest priority for us, because he's already pretty strong, he moved pretty well. We kind of touched up some things from a movement perspective, but the biggest priority wasn't like strength or power per se. It was cardio. It's like, hey, let's make sure we're in good aerobic shape so that we don't get our ass kicked. After I hate nothing more than watching like two heavyweight guys that make it halfway through round two and they're both like hands on their hips. I'm like, this is not fun to watch anymore. This is so sloppy. So I was like, cardio is gonna be the biggest thing, and then making you a little bit quicker is probably gonna be the second priority. Just because like that is so important for heavyweights specifically because they are larger, they tend to have shittier cardio. But that was the plan, and then like he gets knocked out in 30 seconds because he tries to strike with a guy that's good at striking, and he's not a striker, right? So maybe, the hypothesis worked in theory, but not in practice because it also depends on who you're fighting and what the game plan is for that person, right? So that's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's like, are you fighting a striker? Are you fighting a grappler? What's the game plan going to be? How can we? And that maybe it's getting too specific, but we want to make sure that we're physically prepared for whatever the plan is, to the best of our abilities.
Mm-hmm. You talked about heavyweights, and then like especially after that, you mentioned Teixeira. A couple of people like put a picture of that, and then below it they put like when Brock and Oberyn was there, or like but like geared up to the gills, and they were like, bring
Uh-huh.
back steroid use for heavyweights because like it just makes it more interesting. Like even with heavyweights, like Derek Lewis, was it like I think it was a week before that, he just like gassed out and then like he slipped and just stayed on the ground.
Dude, Derek Lewis is like 42. Like he's
Yeah.
old as shit as well. So like that definitely doesn't help. Like Derek Lewis in his prime was a lot more fun to watch.
Mhm.
But uh, maybe you say that, and then like you'll go watch guys like Cyril Gahn fight, and you're like, okay, like this this guy might as well be on steroids if he's not, like because he's just insane genetics, right? Or
Yeah.
even like what's the boxer Anthony Joshua, like just like, crazy genetics. So you still see that. It's just there's not as many guys like that in heavyweights that are just like that genetically gifted. A lot of them honestly fight at the light heavyweight. Like light heavyweight has some of the craziest genetics. Even like my one fighter, Muhammad,
Mhm.
crazy genetics. He walks around like 240, fights at 205. So going into a camp, obviously we're lighter, but like he's like he'll start lifting and just put on muscle without trying. It's like one of those people where like, oh, I just touch weights and I put on muscle. And you're like, shut the fuck
Oh,
up.
yeah.
No, you don't. And then like you train them, you're like, oh shit, that's like kind of true. Like you do put on a lot of muscle pretty easy.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. Like you just hate them. You're like, dude, how is it? Like, what's the secret? You just do it, and then like I've been training for a while, and I'm trying. Like I think I've got the intensity part right. I think I've got the nutrition part right. I've been doing it hard enough, but it's just not happening, fam. And then someone just comes and it's like the magic number or the magic touch.
Yeah, it's just luck of the draw.
Right? It's like Baxter's always said, was like, yeah, listen, genetically, like at least you move well. Everything else, you didn't get that lucky. I'm like, oh, thank you. That means a lot to me.
It could be
Like,
worse.
yeah,
You could have bad genetics and move poorly.
right. Okay, yeah, that is actually true. At least I can move a little bit better than some other people. Man, that would be horrible. So when are you gonna actually? Because we talked about it in the in the pre-talk. When are you gonna actually go and fight? Get in the ring.
I'm not. There's no fucking chance.
Ah, come on.
I've had enough concussions in my lifetime. I'm like, you know what? If
Right.
I would have, when I would have stopped playing football, if I would have got into doing like Muay Thai or MMA right away, I maybe
Mhm.
would have done it, right? Because I saw that competitive juice in me a little bit. But now I'm like, I don't even have time. Like, if I was gonna do it, I'm gonna do it well. And I don't have the time to commit to everything that I want to doing that.
Mm.
I could. I would have to sacrifice other things. It's not a priority, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
I have the time. I just don't want to make the time. How about we say that?
Mm. It's funny because for me, I want to do it. Like Paul and I have had this conversation. We actually want to fight, but we leave it to the instructors. I'm just like, you tell us when we're ready, and then I'll just go in the ring. But for me, it's just doing it. It's not like I'm not really. I don't need to win necessarily, so I don't think I have the fire to be like, oh, I need to be as competitive as possible. I just need to like, just get in the ring again, because like, especially doing this has reminded me of my kickboxing days, and I just have fun being in the ring and getting kicked in the face a couple of times. So maybe I'm just like I've lost a couple of brain cells, but it sounds fun to be just like back in the ring again.
And maybe that's what it is. You lose enough brain cells, and the idea of getting back in the ring is like, it sounds like a better idea than it should be.
Right? It's starting to sound really appealing, man. But also, it's just like I think I found that fire again. I told you like the past year has really just been really interesting for me, especially with the effect that environment has on you. Right? Like I came here, and for a long time I was just surrounded by a bunch of bodybuilders. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get as big as I can. Like I'm just gonna train. Eat, do this, do that. And kind of lost the plot for myself because like it got to a point that I was just training and really not enjoying what I was doing, and we had like a wake up call. I was like, dude, I used to dream of doing Muay Thai, and then I've lived in Thailand for 8 months and I haven't done one single Muay Thai class yet because I was just like, yeah, but if I train, if I do Muay Thai, it's gonna affect my recovery and nutrition, and then I have legs this time and I don't want to be sore, blah blah blah, like all that bullshit. So Paul and I just like were like, dude, 8 months in Thailand, you haven't done one Muay Thai class, like shame on you. So we went to one, and then that was all I needed to just kind of bring back everything. I was like, yeah, this is what I like. And that's affected my training, everything I do on the gym floor and everything else.
Yeah, I'm sure your resting heart rate's like 10 beats lower.
Yeah, hell yeah,
How,
right.
how good your cardio is. Dude, there's like no better form of cardio.
Yeah, dude. Everyone's like running. I'm like, nah, just go and do like Muay Thai, and it. Like it's so funny. We always talk about like conditioning and getting deconditioned. Nothing humbles you as much as like starting that like 7 or 8 minutes of skipping at every Muay Thai session that they do. Like their warm up is like skipping 8 minutes, 10 minutes, and you're just like, the first session we did, I was like, holy hell, I am deconditioned as fuck.
Dude, I have so much resentment doing that. I'm like jumping rope for 10 minutes while my instructor's on Twitter. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, when are we gonna put some mitts on?
Let me do something. Yeah, no, it's always, and they're really funny about it as well. Like, it's just like an unspoken rule that you have to do it. Like people come in and just start without even like anyone saying it. Here in Thailand, they just go pick up the ropes. And I don't know about you, like, well, for here we have like really heavy ropes as well, and it just feels like you have to pick up the heavy ropes. You just can't pick up the small ropes. There's just this thing that they judge you.
Yeah, then your fucking like delts are getting heavy already. It's like you're already dropping your hands because your delts are so sore from jumping heavy rope for 10 minutes.
Yeah. My forearms. It's just so much forearm work as well when I'm doing like my delts, but my forearm. Like for me, mostly it's just like holding the handle. It's like, I got small hands, I guess. I don't know. I have child hands. I don't know.
Yeah, Burger King hands. Remember those commercials?
What's that?
I'll send you a video. It's like a commercial of Burger King having like small hands. Anyways.
Oh wow.
it's a sidetrack. Sidetrack.
Yeah. Burger King hands. Now I'll look into it. But yeah, so that's been fun, man. I want to get back into the fight. We'll see if we'll ever be ready. But I'm not under any illusions that I'll be ready for it. And it was funny, like here, you know how you said the difference between amateur and pro is like just once you get invited to a pro fight, you're a pro. But here is like they actually have levels to it, Like you upgrade once you're not wearing shin guards anymore. Like it's a serious thing once you stop fighting with a shin guard. Like now you're more in like the big leagues.
Right.
And I don't want to. Like, Paul and I just like practice checking kicks and everything else, and every time we just go shin to shin, it's the worst feeling on the planet. So I'm just like, how do these guys throw kicks without any respect for what's gonna happen to their shins or anything else? Just like throw it as hard as they can. Man, that shit
Dude,
hurts.
guys will like routinely break their legs, and
Yeah.
like you don't notice it until after the fight. But no, I remember the first time I did. I was just doing leg kicks on the heavy bag,
Hmm.
and my coach was like, "Do you want shin guards?" And I was like, "Am I a pussy if I use shin guards?" And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, "No." So
Yeah.
I'm kicking the fuck out of the heavy bag, and like my shins are literally bruised for like 10 days
Yeah.
on both sides, like bruised to hell. Like while I'm kicking, I'm like, "Oh my god, this feels like ass." Like I'm just kicking an already bruised shin hundreds of times.
It's the worst feeling ever, man. Like heavy bags, and you, you know, like you kind of there is this feeling of accomplishment because you hit it at the right angle and you feel it, but also that your shins are just getting smashed and you're like, fuck, man, like, and I have to keep going. We just bought some new shin guards. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Like sparring is gonna be sick because I'm tired of wearing like shin guards that are twice my size and they. Every time I have to adjust it, every time I throw one kick and it's like bending down and adjusting it, getting kneed in the face.
Yeah, I've actually never worn shin guards.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Does that
Yeah,
make
so
me a
when you
pussy?
when you when you when you kick an elbow with your big toe, it does not feel good.
That does not. No, man. I remember when I was preparing for my first kickboxing fight back in the day. Just probably 4 days before my first official fight, I kicked an elbow with like literally forefront top of the left foot into the elbow, and it fucked me up so badly. And then like obviously when you get to the fight, you're in the ring, adrenaline is rushing, you don't realize it. Did the whole fight. The moment it stopped, I had to get out. My left foot was fucked because probably during the fight as well, I kicked the same area, and
Hmm.
they have pictures of me that like literally like a 20-something-year-old Mahan in the corner has an ice pack on his foot, and then they like squirming, and then they come and take a picture of me. So I'm just like showing a thumbs up with like a plastic trophy in my hand and inside crying, icing that foot. Worst experience ever. Kicking elbow, not it.
Yeah, it makes you definitely earn some respect for these guys.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But no, like we only wear it from sparring for now, and even for as I said, like certain fights, especially for foreigners, they do let you wear it, and then like if you earn the stripes, you get rid of the shin pads, and then go to do real boy fighting.
Yeah, you progress to getting your shins fucked up.
Yeah, probably break them, but it'll all be fun. It'll all be fun. The other thing that we talked about that I'm going to bring up is because I did ask you, but I just want you to kind of walk me through it a little bit more. The married life. Any difference
Yeah.
at all? You said it's not changed at all. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's also to the extent where like once you've been together for the point. Sorry, once you put a ring on it, really, it's like we'd been engaged for over a year, and
Mhm.
our wedding. I think we got engaged. Yeah, we got engaged in October. We didn't get married till not that December, but the following December, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's 14 months. We got to the point where we're just like, okay, we're just gonna go to the courthouse and get married.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's just go to
what's like,
final.
okay, we're engaged. What's the difference between now and the wedding? Like, we're living together. We do everything together.
Mhm.
Let's just get married.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best, dude. Highly recommend.
Highly
I'm sure there's
recommend. Yeah.
lots of people that would say the exact opposite of that. But when you find the right one,
Yeah, no. When you find the right one, I had a friend like asking me. One of it's so funny. It's slight tangent, but because you said finding the right one, I have some gaming friends that I still haven't met in real life, and we've been like friends for like 7, 8 years. We just like talk on Discord while we play games, and somehow they always ask me about relationship advice. And then he was like, "Yeah, but like, I'm talking to this person, and they're like kind of clingy and messaging me, and like, I don't how. What do you think? Like, they're feeling it feels clingy." And I was like, dude, if it was the right person, you would like that clinginess, because like if it you find that person, it doesn't matter. Like it's not your person. Like it doesn't matter where their attitude, like things are like the right match. You like their clinginess, you like the lame jokes, you like them to message you as soon as possible. It doesn't feel forced. So if it depends on what you want from a relationship. If it's not something serious, like yeah, whatever. But if you want something serious, that's not your person. Move on.
Yeah, or they're just like crossing boundaries, you know, like they're like
Yeah,
fucking blowing your shit up. They're like they're thinking because you're not like responding to them, you know,
yeah,
every 5 minutes that you're like fucking other joke, you know, whatever. Like there's again, that's not the person for you. It's
yeah,
not even a
exactly.
matter of them annoying you. They're just like they're exerting like or exhibiting qualities that like you're not a fan of.
So like red flags, man, red flags,
But
completely.
I would expect you get a lot of these conversations from your friends that are avid gamers, just based
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
personality type. If I had to create a heuristic, dudes that do a lot of gaming probably
Fair
have
enough.
certain social qualities.
Actually, now that you put it like that, I realize that yes, it is normally, and now I realize why they asked me for the relationship advice because I think amongst my friend like gaming friend group, I'm the most worldly person ever.
You probably have the longest tenure of having a girlfriend. If you
Yeah,
did that.
probably. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, most of them. You know, it's true. Most gamers are virgins, uh, but I think like at least two of them. Um, That was such a weird tangent for me. Sorry to go with gaming, but yeah. So I want to talk about like married life because dude, things have like it's crazy, right? This is 2026. We are like pretty much connected in 2020, right? During COVID, doing pre-script and everything else. And the other day, I was just kind of reflecting on where our lives have gone and like because I just the amount of change I've been through is mental. Like you know, going from the pre-script level one and like you know all those labs and everything else and how things have changed for me and for you yourself as well. I remember even um, once we were on a phone call before you even went to DMV, right? We were discussing if you wanted to move to DMV, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that was like such a long time ago, and like, cause I was like, oh shit, man, look at this, lots of change, lots of stuff happening. Um, I like to reflect on I like to appreciate where I am. Like I'm in Thailand right now, right? Like just sometimes I look out the window and like, fuck, what happened in a good way? Like what was the decision that sent me down this path? Like I don't know if you go the same way. Like marriage, training, football players, UFC fighters, and like you know. Mohammed and the other guy you mentioned with like BJJ fighters and everything else. Are there moments that you feel like what was the decision that led into this, or is just like put your head down, do the work, and then reap the rewards?
Kind of a little bit of both. I mean,
Mm.
like that's the broader theme, you know, just put your head down and do the work, and then like
Yeah.
the biggest thing is just capitalizing on opportunities that get put in front of you. Like I've made a lot of decisions that people like. I wouldn't ask friends for advice on the situation because I know they tell me I was stupid for saying yes to it. Like I've done a lot of free work,
Oh yeah.
spent a lot of money on travel that I wasn't confident would be reimbursed. Especially like I started doing more like concierge-based work with a lot of NFL athletes in the last year. So I've been out to Nashville and some other places like over a handful of times.
Mm.
Uh, Worked with some really good athletes, some really good people, and also on the flip side of that, I've had some very interesting experiences in terms of I don't know, like sitting in a parking lot for 6 hours waiting for a client, things of that
Okay.
nature. Yeah, 2 a.m. phone calls. You know, you get some pretty interesting experiences there. But like, yeah, it's like get an opportunity to get hands on with some guys. Like they want to link up with you. I'm not discussing prices out the gate. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna show up and I'm there. I need to provide value to you because, you know, from a business perspective, like the biggest thing you can do is get their trust so that you're their person long term. So like you're really
Mm-hmm.
looking at investing on the front end so you can get return on the back end. Because like they're purely built on trust, and if you're not providing value, you know, everyone else is trying to provide them value. So everyone else is trying to be like, oh, you know, let me be your guy, let me do this for you, this, that, and the other. So biggest thing you can do is show it, which like requires investing in either time or a lot of effort and
Mm.
often very little financial compensation out the gate.
Yeah.
So yeah, then too, like even getting into, you know, training, like I had probably a 2 year gap where I trained no athletes from 2022 to like probably a year and a half, 2023 ish, where I basically was at DMV just putting my roster up, gym pop clientele for the most part, like a lot of post
Mm.
rehab stuff. And then I got some opportunities to start working with some athletes that were like Division 1 kind of kids for football, and like they had no money, so I just trained them for free. Like, okay, I want to get back into it. You know, I want to kind of create a resume. I want to get some more experience here. So I just started doing that, and then like kind of same idea with some of the fighters. Started training, and I started building a good base, and then got a lot of experience, and then like you start seeing a return on that investment, because now you got people that are either you get new clients that are in that sector of football, fighting, whatever, that are paying you, or you get more online clients. I can't tell you how many coaches I work with that are like, oh yeah, I want, like, I'm a trainer. I've always done like kind of lifestyle type training or bodybuilding type training, but like I don't know how to train from Muay Thai. And I started doing Muay Thai. Like I want a coach to help guide me through that, right? So you see a return on it, but it's just a matter of having like delayed gratification.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people don't understand that to do those free work, it's not necessarily free work. It's like it would be the same as you paying for a course, right? Like if
Dude,
you want to learn
that's the exact analogy I say. I'm like, look, I'm at the point where I've taken so many courses. I'm not saying that continuing education is not important, that I shouldn't keep doing that, but like if I get an opportunity to invest my time into a new subset of or niche of clientele where I get to get hands on and get that experience, like to me that's far more valuable than a course that I can take. So maybe I'm not getting paid, but really that's me trading my time, which you can put a monetary value on, for an experience, right? Or for a skill set that I'm now growing. So that's what I say. I'm like, if you have time to spend and you have somewhere to spend it where you could get a return on investment in terms of what you can add to your skill set, that's going to pay dividends down the road. So you go fucking do it. Because I think there's a lot of like these like IG business coaches too that are like, you need to value your worth, this, that, and the other. I'm like, but if you have no worth, dude, there's no value to it. And I'm like, that's not like delusion of like, oh, I am good, therefore I deserve money. Well, it's like, okay, would these people pay you right now? Or are they like, who the fuck is this guy? Because if they're like, who the fuck is this guy, then like you need to prove your worth to them. Now that's subjective, but especially when you're getting into like sports specifically, they have a culture, and they have like they have a really they value trust a lot, right? So if they don't trust you or respect you because you've been training gen pop at a high level, it's not the same as you training athletes at a high level. It's like you have to prove to them that you can provide value to them.
And the fastest way to get through those doors is just by kind of showing up and like offering your time and be like, no, I'm here to work. I'm here to do these things, right?
Yeah.
With a lot of coaches, I think like what I tell them is like, would you hire yourself? Because this idea of high value coach and everything else, with a lot of working in person with a lot of coaches, they would sit in the kitchen if they didn't have a client. I was like, you were paid to do this hour. Your client didn't show up. Go and find someone else to train. It's a skill that you can always work on and just like add more value. But it's like, no, but I'm a coach and stuff like that. It's like, if you have that mentality, would you actually be the person who would hire yourself? And if you have to ask that question and the answer is never a hell yes, there are qualities in coaching that you can improve.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like honestly that's I think just a general, I wouldn't call it a skill set, but I would say it's a quality as a human. It's like just like staying busy, not like busy work, but like if you have free time, like is there something that you should be doing to get better at your job? If it's not, cool, go enjoy it. You've earned that, right? But if you have stuff to work on, then like, dude, like don't be idle and stay moving.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite quotes. Is that we actually have it like on as a wallpaper or like screensaver. Is in time of storms, fishermen fix the nets. Right? It's like, you can go fishing, fix the nets. And you're gonna do something again, as you said. Like, don't be idle. Find something to do. And if you want, like, if you're gonna be resting, just make it like it's a thing to do, to rest, to recover, and it's just like put the work in. But it's been somewhat life changing for me in the sense that like every time I feel like, because especially as online coaches for like my people, sometimes if you've done your check-ins, you've replied to clients and everything else, it just feels like the work is done, right? If you're just doing that and then finding other things that you can do, like building connections, talking to people, creating more content, putting yourself out there, just move fast and break shit. One of my next tattoos will be that. Shallows promised me that we're gonna get a tattoo together, so I told him that we're gonna get this tattooed, like move fast and break shit. So I just need to like pin him down for that tattoo once he travels closer to my end.
There we go. I mean, that's kind of my philosophy. I'm like this. I say yes to everything, and take it one day at a time. I think that's like the broader look at my career. And then I think some of like the turning points are kind of things that just like they kind of naturally happen. Like the opportunity I got to go up to DMV, like that was a no-brainer. Now like I can almost feel myself transitioning from not doing less in person, but like my online business in the last years has like done very well, and I can do less in person, which it's not my goal per se, but having more opportunities to work with athletes is what I really want. Now I'm getting more opportunities to work with more, more pro athletes. Like that's kind of the shift I'm trying to make, is in just doing more of that. So now you have less clients, but you're spending more time with those clients, and I'm even looking at getting my my license for massage therapy just so I can kind of be all in one. Like
Oh, sick.
Genta and Shallow would do like manual work and training. So like having the ability to be like a one-stop shop is really valuable, not even just for athletes, but if you want to work with like higher net worth individuals.
Yeah, just like cover everything. I love that for you, man. That's actually such a good idea. That's sick. Especially as an in person, like as a one
Yeah,
to one. Sorry.
yeah, that's tough to get into. So like I said, I think like for me, like I was saying with my in-person business, building up a good in-person business, that gave me the opportunity to get more into work with athletes, right? Or it gave me the opportunity to spend more time on building an online business. So like, I built that as my base, so I could take extra time I had to work on these other things. So now it's like online business is doing pretty well. I'm going to cut back on the in-person work so I can start to invest that time into new opportunities. So maybe I can maximize financial incentives by just working a lot, or I could take that time and sacrifice a little bit of money for that time, and I can invest in future opportunities. That's kind of
Yeah.
like a reoccurring theme I see.
Yeah, it's like it's a cycle of like couple of years, as you said, work for the business, build the base. Like like at the end of the day, we all have to put roof over our heads, eat a meal. Once you have that, then you can just kind of work on the business and then like take different opportunities, explore something new. That was for me the shift from like in person to online, because I was just like, I'm in London. I'm king of the central London. Like I'm just like always training people all the time. Everyone around here knows me, but
Mm.
I'm just doing so much that I'm kind of like time poor, and I want to pursue things that I just can't do it anymore. So like, I'm going online. Like fuck it, let's try that for a while, and I just like get to travel and everything else, and got my passport. So I was like, yeah, it needs a couple of stamps. So go and collect a couple of stamps. But now like this year again, and now online has got into a position for me to this year. Now I'm gonna kind of create more stuff. Especially I want to like, as after the course and everything else, after the workshop, I want to do that. That's my bread and butter. I really enjoy like getting a bunch of coaches in a room and just like I love the sound of my voice, so I like when people listen to me. So just get them to listen to me in person. Um, so now I feel like it's building a little bit of recognition and brand, or like a name for myself, and that happens through being present more often and just actually doing more educational content and putting it out there and like put my opinion out there. So we'll see how that goes. Either
That's
I get
cool.
canceled. Knowing myself, I'll probably say some dumb shit that I'll get canceled, but gotta risk it.
Yeah, well, at least you're not in the Epstein files, so it could be worse.
Yeah, right, right. Fucking
Shout out longevity, down to River
so,
Fitness.
I was wondering when that would come up, man.
My favorite meme that I've seen is like when your most famous longevity client dies at 65, however old Epstein was,
Oh my god, yeah.
and it's like, oh
Holy,
shit.
holy shit. Man, that was a blow. I was like, fuck. That's, and everyone jumping on it. That and then like what's the other guy? Two things, because I keep seeing I forgot his name now. Lifting lawyer that puts about him as well. Scotty something.
Yeah, I had no idea who that was. Thankfully, I'm not plugged in enough on the internet.
Yeah, I like every time I had seen the guy's video, I had just gone like, cool mustache, and then he starts talking, and I just shut off. So I never knew who he was exactly. But like now, it's funny when someone like fucks up or something comes up to light. You actually learn about it more because everyone else jumps on that bandwagon to shit on someone who was just like semi-famous, or had a platform, and then they're like they dug up the bones out of their closet, or did they even use that right? You know what
Something
I
like
mean?
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Their secrets came to light. So then you learn about them. Like, oh shit, this is the guy.
Yeah, it's just
Fantastic.
such like low hanging fruit. Like it's equally as grifting to do stuff like that,
Yeah,
in my
right.
opinion.
Yeah, man. It's like I don't know why people. I mean, I get it. Like some people, I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It is a low hanging fruit. It's just like easy content. It's the same as floating head content to me.
Yeah, that's why I feel the same way about it as floating head content.
I genuinely, there was a time I think I went to Paul and was like, I think I'm losing my mind because I just saw this reel of a floating head talking about a floating head, talking about another there was like literally four floating heads coming up like one after the other. And I was like, we've lost the plot completely.
Yeah, dude. It's like, am I in Inception? Like, what is this?
Yeah, exactly. Worse than Inception. It's just like instead of Inception, it makes me dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it goes. But yeah. Holy shit. Well, I didn't expect this to go there because, like, when we talked about it, I was like, yeah, I have topics that we're actually going to talk about. I don't think we talked about any of that. It was the squat and the 45-degree back extension, but I genuinely like what we actually talked about. It's just like, just shoot the shit, have a good conversation, get good insight on like married life and taking chances.
Yeah, dude. Maybe we have to just run it back for the other ones. I mean, I think honestly, we weren't even in an argument about the whole bar path thing. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
yeah.
anybody. I mean, okay, like here'd be my synopsis. I guess the question was like, should bar path be straight when you're doing a squat?
Yeah.
To which I would say you would probably want it to be relatively in a normal. Like I would look at it more like what is it in like astronomy?
Yeah.
It's called like an ellipse or something. It's like it's like a oval. What? Anyways, it's like
Yeah.
maybe it's not straight down and straight up, but it should have uniformity as you go through an eccentric and concentric phase, right? That's more I would look at because, like you were saying, it's like based off of our structure, perhaps where our center of mass is going to be is going to change a bit. If I have longer femurs, or if I have shorter femurs, if I have like a super Asian squat, maybe it is a pretty straight bar path. If I have a super hingy squat, maybe it's going to change a lot more because I am getting more horizontal displacement. So I'd say if I'm going to get more horizontal displacement in my hips in a squat, I'm probably going to get more horizontal displacement in the bar path.
Exactly. Yeah.
That doesn't mean the bar should be like traveling over my toes, but yeah, it's not a hill that I would die on. It's like, yeah, it's kind of one of those things too. It's like, when you see a bad squat, like if someone's center of mass is getting off, like if the bar path is actually that big of an issue, you're going to see massive issues with foot pressure. Like I'm going to be getting into my toes or getting into my heels. So like that would be like the real canary in the coal mine. It's like, is bar path an issue? Look at the feet. Feet are good, probably not a bar path issue, right? Or maybe if I'm getting like back pain with a good brace, like my brace is good, but I'm getting back pain. It's like, okay, maybe it's my center of mass getting too far away from my base of support. Those are kind of things that I would look at. But generally speaking, I think it's a dumb argument.
Yeah, I think like my thing for it was like as long as because the vertical line for me is center of mass. It's not the bar path. It's like your center of mass has to be over the base of support, and that goes straight to gravity, right? But as long as you have your center of mass over the midfoot, the bar can slightly go forward, as you said. Like, and I think the idea of fully perpendicular or straight bar path, as the example you said, was like it comes from a little bit more like weightlifting background because. Majority of the fitness industry at some point decided that like a really upright squat is the correct squat because it just looks pleasing to the eye, and then through that we created this, especially if you're doing it like a high bar, especially if you're doing it for weightlifting, you have to kind of work within these straight lines. So they become more of instead of more of guidelines, they became like these hard established rules for certain people. So they're like, yeah, bar path has to be always straight. If you're a weightlifter and you have to get used to being straight because your sport requires you to clear the bar from the front to overhead, moving a little bit more straight and perpendicular to the ground works. But even those, when I see their squat and they go really ass to grass, when they have to come out of the hole, they're just going to shoot back a little with the hips and then get into a position that they can actually get out of it. So yeah, it was funny. Like I was like, mate, I want to bring this up, see what you think, and then you said the exact same thing that like I was thinking. I was like, okay, well, this isn't, and that's why I didn't really make it to the beginning of a conversation. I was like, we're in agreement here.
Yeah, you have to pick a more fun argument next time so we can yell at each other a bit more.
No, we'll run this back because, as I said, I think you said it like, well, again, not recorded, but you told me that you want to, or maybe it was recorded. I'm tripping. You want to do more podcasts as well, and I want to do more of this. So we'll definitely do this again. More episodes, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I don't know however many you want.
Yeah, it's in the cards, dude. We'll see when I get that set up. But yeah, no, like I said, I like long form content. You get more context, and like making short form content can be so like artificially curated to be short form content, right? Because it gets someone's attention, you have to keep it, and then like you almost want to leave people hanging, you know, like just give them a little taste without giving them the full. Because I mean, if I post a minute long reel, I'm sure the drop off in attention. You can even see that if you go to analytics on Instagram. Like you can see the drop off based off of how many seconds of the video was watched. So it's like shorter reels tend to do better. If I'm being honest, longer reels tend to do worse, right? And if it is a longer reel, you have to make sure you're really diligent about keeping people, you know, engaged while you're talking for a minute. So I'd rather kind of self-select for a long-form platform like YouTube. That's what I've been doing. Like, and that's more like, I would say most of my videos are like 3 to 15 minutes, right? So that's kind of a longer range. But then, like, if someone's going on YouTube, they're already kind of choosing that they're going to watch a longer form content. So that's going to help you retain more of that engagement. And then I guess the longer version of that would be a podcast, and then you get a bit more conversation as well. Instead of me just like sitting behind the camera talking to myself, it's like having an actual conversation. So I'd rather draw short form content from that comes from long form. So I'd rather have the full idea there. If somebody wants it, they can go get it.
Yeah, exactly. I totally get to see the value in that, man. Every time I try to do a reel, and I want it to be a little bit like, because Instagram is so hard to be educational, but at least I'm like, I want to try to add value and like give something out. And it just gets longer and longer, the video. I'm like, yeah, but if I say this, now I have to say this. But if I say this, then I have to say that. And then I'm like, might as well just have recorded a YouTube video. Like, this is me talking or saying something so totally out of context as well, or is like so much context added to it, and then pull away from it. Like, as you said, do a long form content, pull away from it as a these laying the breadcrumbs for people to follow. Like, oh, if you want actual things, come to my YouTube channel. You know, this is the real.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I see with coaches that I work with. They're like, oh, but like I feel like that's not enough context. Like I'm not explaining it fully. I'm like, that's the point. Like you're not going to be able to. Nobody's on Instagram trying to get a full idea from you. They want like quick little punchy things, right? You don't have to explain the whole thing. And if you feel like you're lacking context in your video, just put it in the caption. But like people don't want long form content on a short form content platform. That's just
exactly.
like
Even like the long captions, man. Like sometimes I don't have the patience to read all of that, right? Like it's just the conditioning. Even me, like if I read it something and I'm just like, if it doesn't grab me, I'll go away. But the chances are, I would listen to a podcast, I would watch a video. I even like started doing you get this. I'll start to watch like learning my Spanish off of YouTube videos, because like this holds my attention longer than in like other platforms that I've been through. And I'm
a big Duolingo guy myself.
I did Duolingo for so many months, and then when my girlfriend, and she was like, "What are you learning? Like this is nothing was applicable." It's like I still know how to say I'm a table. Like there's nothing really. I didn't get much out of it. Like YouTube actually has helped me more, and then.
You see, I'm a table.
Oh yes, because it's at the beginning it teaches you random stuff. Like I swear to God, there was one point that when I was doing Duolingo, like many years back, maybe because Duolingo hadn't improved as much, but there was a line that was like, "Soy un caballo." I was like, why am I saying that I'm a horse? Like I don't get it.
Or it's like the owl went to the store to meet the dog. It's like not like a real conversation. They're trying to teach you vocabulary. Yeah, it's. The longer you do it, the better it gets, so it gets more applicable. But you'd almost wish you would learn like conversational stuff. That's what I started doing, because I found like people on TikTok that do like the only people I follow on TikTok are like Spanish, like educators. So then I go on there and it's like, I'm learning Spanish, and they're like, somebody asks how you're doing, don't say muy bien, say this instead. Or if they say like, do you speak Spanish? Don't say un poquito. Say like, you know, entiendo más de lo que hablo, or something that's like more.
Más o menos.
Yeah, well, yeah. Instead of saying like 2 of the common words, like, you know, here's some phrases that you can say, or like when you're traveling, here's how you should actually be ordering, stuff like that. So I get my more like practical stuff from there, and then I could get more of my vocabulary and like grammar and stuff from Duolingo.
Yeah, sick. That's good actually. I'm gonna try that. I don't even have TikTok. First I need to get TikTok, and then probably follow Spanish speakers on TikTok. But also the gripe I have with Spanish is like, why do they have so many irregularities? Like they have rules, and then everything just breaks those rules, and they're like, yeah, you just have to know this. It's like, okay, you just have to know it.
Just start listening to Bad Bunny too.
He was like, yeah, just Bad Bunny. But Paula's impressed by that. Like every time I have a playlist that if I want to impress her, I play it. And every time she's talking to her family, she's like, "Yeah, Mahan's listening to this and that, and like Bad Bunny and J Balvin and these guys." And I have some like old school Latino songs as well that like kind of impresses her. So on
Well,
that
like
front,
some Don Omar or like Vicente Fernandez. What are we talking
yeah,
about here?
both.
Well, there we go.
And like obviously, I have some Daddy Yankee as well, like because obviously
There we
everyone
go.
does, right? Yeah, all the
That's great.
goodies. But yeah, man, I know like the lab's gonna come up, so we're gonna like I'll jump into that as well after this for a bit. Any because the only people who listen to this is like my mom. But any shout outs, any plugins, anything else you want to put at the end of this?
No, if you want to find me, just search my name on Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, feel free to ask me anything you want to ask me about.
Everything, yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
shout
Anyone
out,
who
shout out
listens
to our
this,
moms. There we go. Shout out
shout
mom.
out.
Shout out your
Yeah,
mom. Shout out my mom. There we go. We'll end with that.
they're the best. Fantastic. All right, man. Thanks so much. Um, we'll run this back again. I appreciate you and your time. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well as much as I did. And until next time.
Appreciate it, dude.